I knew the whole story of this, obviously. One of the things is my love of documentaries, first of all. I feel if I'm not seeing it, I don't know what's going on. This completes the whole saga for me. I knew exactly what was going on, but there's still some surprises there. Let's not talk about them, but talk about what it was like to have those surprises in this film and making it.
Well, when you get so immersed in a story and an investigation, it's impossible to not find some, have some breaks. And we were fortunate enough. I mean, I spent 3 years on this film and knocked on numerous doors and repeat visits to people that didn't want to talk. And so there were a lot of people that recanted their testimonies, that explained why they lied on the stand, things that people had heard that were starting to make sense with all of the information coming together. So there were a lot of surprises, and I think there are still more surprises to come in this case, because there's still a murderer on the street somewhere.
It's interesting. I did Central Park 5 with Ken Burns and his daughter, and these are both equally good movies, both timely, and both have the same messages, but completely different. The timing of that is impeccable also. What is it like to have this come out at the same time as Central Park 5, but have two injustices, completely different stories, exact same verdict?
Well, I think that West of Memphis is in the discussion right now with other films and other stories, because this is an issue that people are really interested in. And every couple of days I hear about a new exoneration or a new person that's about to be executed. And it's just, I think that people know that we've made mistakes, and I think we're on the road to some type of reform, whether it be death penalty reform or taking a look at the system and what is fundamentally wrong with it.
It's one of the things is I always thought, was it Byers? I always thought he was kind of the person at one point, and then the more you go on, especially in your movie, it's not the case. It's interesting when you see the last documentary carry over to this, except, like I said, this is the complete one. This is much, much better. And for me, I took a friend to go see it, and she didn't know anything about this, but she was like, this is intense. That was her word 5 times, intense.
Yeah.
What do you say about something like that?
Well, it's so highly passionate, because there were so many people that got it wrong, and there was I think that the passions are just so high around this case. And so I understand. It is intense, because it's very personal to a lot of people that have so much vested in this story, and I think the film shows how detrimental it is to make a mistake to so many different people.
One of the problems that I see is when the justice system is wrong, they don't like to cop up that they've made mistakes. What is that like for you as a filmmaker, as someone who's just looking at it from the outside in also?
This is really the tragedy of this case, and you're putting it right. I think that the fact that we aren't seeing, prosecutors and judges coming up and saying, you know what, if I knew now if I knew then what I know now, then I wouldn't have done this. Just give people some kind of sense that we are fallible. Human beings are fallible. Jury members are fallible. They didn't have all the facts right, and now people have suffered. Why can't we say we made a mistake? I just don't understand that.
When you devote all your time, documentaries are not easy to shoot. They cost. The cost is there. You don't know where the money's going to keep going. When you have a Henry Rollins, when you have Eddie Vedder in it, and you have a Fran Peter Jackson behind us, what does that do for you as a filmmaker?
Well, it allowed me to focus on the investigation and not worry about whether or not I was going to be able to do a certain shoot, for sure. So it offered me some support that is less usual in documentary filmmaking.
What do you have coming up?
I'm doing a feature in the spring called Every Secret Thing, starring Diane Lane and Elizabeth Banks, and it's like a murder mystery thriller story.
Good. I always have a section called Matters That Matter. It's about charities. What is a favorite charity of yours, and why?
A favorite charity of mine, I would have to say the Innocence Project, because they're doing work in this realm, and they got behind the repeal of the death penalty in California, and I feel very strongly about Barry Scheck and his team and what they do.
Thank you.
Thank you.